Long ago, in an age when gods walked among mortals, a grand wedding was held between the mortal hero Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. Every god and goddess of Olympus was invited, all except Eris, the goddess of discord. Furious at being left out, she crashed the celebration and tossed a golden apple onto the banquet table. It was inscribed with 3 words, "For the fairest." Instantly, 3 powerful goddesses claimed it: Hera, queen of the gods; Athena, goddess of wisdom and war; and Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. To settle the matter, they chose a mortal prince to judge who was most worthy of the apple. That prince was Paris, the young son of King Priam of Troy. Each goddess tried to bribe him. Hera offered him dominion over all of Asia. Athena promised him unmatched wisdom and victory in battle. But Aphrodite offered him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen, queen of Sparta. Paris chose Aphrodite, sealing his fate, and the fate of Troy. Helen, however, was already married to King Menelaus of Sparta. Paris journeyed to Sparta, and whether through seduction or deception, he took Helen with him and fled to Troy. When Menelaus discovered this betrayal, he called upon the other Greek kings to honor their ancient oath, an oath to defend Helen's marriage. Together, they assembled the greatest army Greece had ever known, led by Agamemnon, Menelaus' brother. Among the warriors were legendary names: Odysseus of Ithaca, Ajax the Great, Nestor, the Wise, and above all, the fierce and nearly invincible Achilles, son of Thetis. They launched 1,000 ships and sailed across the Aegean Sea to the gates of Troy, beginning a war that would last 10 long years. The Trojans, led by noble Prince Hector, defended their city with courage and honor. The Greeks laid siege but could not break through the high walls of Troy. Battles raged, heroes fell, gods intervened, some siding with the Greeks, others with the Trojans. The war dragged on. Tensions rose within the Greek camp. Agamemnon angered Achilles by taking a woman from him as a prize of war. Enraged, Achilles withdrew from battle, and without him, the Greeks suffered. In desperation, Patroclus, Achilles' closest companion, donned Achilles' armor and led the charge. But Hector mistook him for the true hero and killed him in battle. When Achilles learned of Patroclus' death, his grief turned into unstoppable fury. He rejoined the war, slaughtered Trojan warriors without mercy, and finally faced Hector in single combat. The duel was fierce. Achilles triumphed and, in his rage, dragged Hector's body behind his chariot around the walls of Troy. Grief-stricken, King Priam of Troy secretly entered the Greek camp and humbly begged Achilles for his son's body. Moved by the old king's tears, Achilles returned Hector's body for a proper burial, a brief moment of humanity in a savage war. But Achilles' fate, too, was sealed. Soon after, Paris, with the help of the god Apollo, shot an arrow into Achilles' only vulnerable spot, his heel, and the mighty hero fell. With Achilles gone, the Greeks were desperate. Then Odysseus conceived a clever plan. They would pretend to give up the war and sail away, leaving behind a massive wooden horse as a gift. But hidden inside the hollow horse were the finest Greek soldiers. The Trojans, believing the war was over, pulled the horse inside their city as a trophy. That night, while the city slept, the Greek warriors crept out of the horse, opened the gates, and signaled the fleet to return. The Greeks flooded into Troy. What followed was destruction. The city burned. Warriors were slain, women taken captive. Priam was killed. Paris died. Helen, the cause of it all, was taken back to Sparta. And so, Troy was no more, reduced to ashes by cunning, betrayal, and the wrath of gods and men. The war was won, but at a terrible cost.